Hello and welcome to another edition of Into the Wilderness. I'm Marty Hill, joined by Josh Petrich, and behind the camera is Eric Lipponen. And we're going to go ahead and go over the Minnesota Wilderness over the last couple weeks. We're going to talk to the coach, also have player guest Ian Mansfield, all previewing Military Appreciation Weekend. Let's first go over what's been happening with the Wilderness since our last show as we check out our Wilderness hockey headlines. Final stretch for the playoffs begins. The team has been having some struggles lately. A 2-3-2 record over the last 7 games. They did get a victory a week ago last Saturday over Cooley Region, 5-1 win at home. Aaron Miller picking up a hat trick. Also Dan Litchke, another Superior native, getting the game-winning goal in that game, and also Darian Romanko with a goal and assist in that game as well. But last weekend, the team went down to Austin and had it handed to them. The Bruins winning both games 4-1 on Friday night and 5-2 on Saturday. Austin extending a winning streak to 8 games. The Wilderness having some difficulty with their top forwards, their top 9 scorers, only picking up 2 points through the weekend. Brock Couts ended up being pulled in the third period as well in Friday night's game. And also the Wilderness were further shorthanded on the forward lines with Brett Heikkila receiving a game misconduct from a checking from behind call. So the team, that's what's been going on the ice, but off the ice. A busy week also last week for the kids as well.
Yeah, they were at B&B helping out a great sponsor of ours. They had their meat sale, so it was a lot of fun. Definitely was.
Sure. So they were busy, and this week, the Military Appreciation Weekend coming up on March 20th and 21st against Bismarck.
Yeah, it's a special time of year for us, definitely. So we'll be wearing specialty jerseys, donating the auction funds to the local military families.
Sure. Terrific. So let's take a look at our trivia. Last week we had, or the last show 2 weeks ago, the question was what Minnesota Wilderness player while in high school was a finalist for the Reed Larson Award, and that is an award handed to a Minnesota high school defenseman, and the answer to that was Alex Trapp. So congratulations to Deb Carter and Kelly Saylor for getting the answer to that question. For this week's question, who was the last team that the Minnesota Wilderness had shut out? Hoping that's as of March 20th, who was the last team. Now we can give you an answer now, but we're hoping this week that answer can change.
Me too.
So if you know the answer to that question, go ahead and send it into our Facebook page, Minnesota Wilderness NEHL, or to our Twitter account at Minnesota Wilderness or at MN Wilderness.
Yep.
And if you don't know the answer, just go ahead and send it in to Josh's MySpace account.
Yes. I still have one of those floating around.
There you go. Okay, we'll be back in a moment with head coach Corey Millen on Into the Wilderness. Back on Into the Wilderness. Thanks for joining us, Coach Corey Millen.
My pleasure.
Good to have you here, and I'm glad you were able to swing by here after a tough weekend.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend for sure.
I guess we can first talk about the Austin series. What went wrong?
Well, I mean, I think it was. I thought we came out of the gates Friday, first period. I thought we played pretty well. I think we had a bunch of good scoring chances. Their goalie played well. And then they kind of took it to us in the second period there. I think they've been playing well. They've been really competing hard. I know that the series up here they did the same thing, and so they deserved to win. They outworked us, I thought. I think the bottom line right now though is we're banged up, and we basically have 10 forwards or so, 10, 11 forwards, and we're playing a lot of hockey. So we're just gonna have to bear down a little bit and kind of get out of this thing, and hopefully tomorrow we can do that.
I did think, and I was able to catch some of it on Fast Hockey. I thought that first period was one of your best periods of at least the last few weeks.
It was. I mean, we came out, and like I said, I thought we played really well. We had, I want to say 6, 7 grade A scoring chances, and weren't really able to capitalize. And then they kind of got some momentum there. And they kind of took over from there. Evan
Smith, that big 6'6" goaltender of theirs, was on his game.
Yep, played well this weekend.
And then it seemed to me, the second period, you guys still hung with them through most of the second period, but then it seemed like there was the major penalty, which on the checking from behind call against Brett Heikela. If you can talk about that, and was that something that was deserved for a game misconduct?
Well, I mean, I guess, you could get a little frustrated with these, the young referees and a little bit inconsistent at times. You feel like, but there's certainly, that was a big part of the weekend, I think, is that 5-minute penalty that got them a power play goal and kind of took the momentum from us. So I think that was a pretty big moment in this, for sure, Friday's game. But I think they took advantage of the situation, and we really never recovered from it.
Right. Power play has been rolling along here, and that stalled as well over the weekend. 1 for 13 on the power play.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good penalty kill. They're the best in the league. They're very aggressive, and something we talked about. I didn't think we responded well. We did work on it. We did, have a lot of conversation about how aggressive they are, and some of the things we thought we could do to maybe, exploit that. And unfortunately, I just didn't think we did a good enough job at it, and didn't really get. We got one power play goal, I think, and it's not enough.
Right. Yeah, I guess, especially against a team like that, when you get those opportunities, you got to capitalize on them.
Exactly.
Brock, in his situation in the third period on Friday, was pulled at, I think it was around 7.5 minutes. What was the reason for that?
Well, I mean, I think that he's just getting his feet under him right now. He has to get in shape and stuff, and I felt like maybe giving him a little rest. It wasn't really anything he did. I just tried to give him a little rest, and I was gonna, thought I'd come back with him again Saturday. I don't think he's as sharp as we're gonna need to see him, but again, he's out for almost 4 months, and now he's gonna have to. It's gonna take some time, and hopefully he can get back to where he was before he got injured.
He seemed to come out pretty well in that game against Cooley. He had some nice stops for you to open up the game, and seemed to play pretty consistent throughout.
He did. I thought he played well in Cooley. I don't think he played great this weekend. I think he's, just some of the things that, not being sharp, would be, his rebound control and some things like that. So, like I said, I mean, it's early for him, in the recovery process of that injury. So, we're going to hope that by playoff times he's going to be back on his game.
Any concern when you have a situation, when you have your top 9 scorers picking up only 2 points in a weekend series, obviously you want to see more from them.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, I had conversation with quite a few of the guys talking about our best players got to be our best players, and excuse me, they got to be catalysts for hard work and kind of be leaders in that department. And I'm not sure that we're getting that right now, and you can see the results.
Sure. One of the guys who did come through free with a goal last Saturday, and a young man who's going to be with us here in a moment, Dean Mansfield. I wanted to talk to you about him for a few minutes here. He did got the goal on Saturday, 3 points in his last 5, and picking up over the 12 games, 8 points as well. Thoughts on his play since you've acquired him?
I think he's played great. I think he's been a real fresh shot in the arm for us. I mean, he works hard. He's a big, strong kid. Provides a lot of energy for us, and we need that, but we need more of that from everybody. You know what I mean? And I think he's been pretty good at that, maintaining his level of play and consistent effort. And we're going to need that leadership and that kind of play from him, and continue the rest of the year. And then we're going to need more of it from the other guys.
Sure. When he came in, obviously his point totals with Odessa aren't even been as good as what he's had so far with you. Was that kind of a bonus for you, do you think, as far as the point production that you've seen so far?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think, we talked to, we didn't expect him to come in and, score a ton of goals for us. I mean, if he does, that's great. He has the ability to do it. But we needed some energy. We needed a guy who played hard. We needed a guy with some leadership. We needed a guy that plays through checks, and he's done exactly that. And like you say, the putting some points on the board is going to be a result of his hard work. And he plays with, he's been playing with Romanko, so he's done a good job there.
With his Army West Point connection there, is that something that you would expect as somebody that would be going into that type of hockey, going into that type of a situation for an undergrad? Yeah,
I think that they did a good job there, Army, and I had a conversation with them before we traded for him, and they described him, and he's been exactly what they described and more. So I think it's going to be a good pickup for them, and he's a guy that every team would like to have.
Sure. This weekend, you guys have the promotion with the military appreciation. With you, was there ever any inclination for you to explore that venue for going into the military?
No, that wasn't something that goes on my radar.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'll leave that for guys like Ian.
Let the guys go ahead and let everybody go ahead and speculate as to why. I don't want to. You did represent your country, I guess, in different ways in international play. Mm-hmm. Got to put on a uniform, the red, white, and blue, and you obviously played in other iconic uniforms, the Gophers, several different NHL teams. But when you put on the uniform of the USA, how different of an attitude does that bring out when you're representing your country?
It's special. I've been very fortunate to represent the country in junior nationals, world championships, Olympics, and in other events, and it's a special moment, and it's always exciting to do that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great environment. You can just feel that every guy that does it, and when you're on those teams, that it's a bonus, and guys really enjoy it.
Sure. I looked up some information today, and I saw that you were on the roster for the '87 Canada Cup team for Team USA.
Yep.
Tell me about that experience. Did you get a chance to get to play? I noticed you were the only college player on the roster. So, and when you look at the talent, I guess you got to wonder how much ice time you had. But I mean, what was that experience like?
Well, it was a really neat experience. What happened there is that Team USA had some injuries. The Canada Cup had some injury guys. And so I was playing with the U.S. national team at the time, and then they were going overseas for 2 weeks. So they asked if they could use me, and I did get to play one game, and it was pretty big game. It was against Team Canada in Copps Coliseum, and we lost 3-2. And I did happen to score a goal. So thanks for asking, Marty.
There you go.
But
You're welcome.
That's the only game that I did play in. So
nice. Well, that's the way to stand out. And then when you look at the situation where some people say that that Team Canada team might have been one of the best teams assembled ever when you have Gretzky, Lemieux, all part of that.
It's an interesting story, really. I mean, we could go on. It's one of my personal favorites. But I did get to play that game because Joey Mullen hurt his knee, and and then Bob Johnson was the coach for us, and he pulled me aside and said that we're going to match you guys up against Gretzky, and I was, like I said, the only amateur in the game, and so. The famous line of Aaron Broughton comes up and he goes, well, no need to worry. He says, you're only playing against the best team in the world and matched up against the best player in the world. Right. So, it was one of those moments where
Excuse me while I put on my brown pants here.
I couldn't feel my legs during the anthem, but no, it was a special moment. That was a fantastic team. Like you say, maybe the best team ever assembled.
Sure. And that tournament, I remember watching that final with Team Canada and Soviet Union, specifically that, and it was just legendary.
Yeah.
Watching what happened there. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you stopping in and talking, and good luck this weekend. We've got March 20th, 21st, Bismarck, and then this week against the Magicians as well, and then Cooley region to conclude the season.
Big games. A lot at stake.
All right. We'll come back with Ian Mansfield in a moment on Into the Wilderness. Back on Into the Wilderness, and we're joined with Ian Mansfield. Thanks for joining us, Ian.
Yeah, thank you.
Ian is a recent acquisition for the Wilderness, just over back in January, was picked up in a trade with Odessa. And so what's it like, difference in Texas hockey and coming up to Minnesota, I guess the normal hockey atmosphere?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been refreshing to be back in hockey country. I mean, when I got up here, when I left Odessa, I was in t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops, and then when I got up here,
Seriously, in January?
Yeah, immediately had to change, So, I mean, it's been refreshing, though, be back in a hockey environment. The fans know hockey, the town knows hockey. It's refreshing. It's good.
Awesome. So what's it been like up here, I guess, getting used to the new team, getting to know new teammates?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, first practice, immediately jumped in, was able to, start clicking with some of the teammates and the line mates, and, was able to hop into a game situation, feeling pretty normal and ready to go. I mean, I think when our team's on, we're easy to play with, or, if you're on the team, I mean, so it's a good environment.
Sure. Now, I'm looking at just your totals from when you were with Odessa compared to what you're doing now. I think it was around 6 points or something like that that
Yeah.
you had over that period of time. What do you credit as the increase in pointage that you've had so far?
You know, I mean, hockey's a team game. It's, you know, very few people can put up points by themselves, you know. And so, you know, I credit it to just the team working hard, doing the right things. Obviously, it helps having, like, Romanko and Nick on my line, you know, two guys who can put the puck in the net, have speed, you know, can handle the puck, and are just great hockey players. So, I mean, that's a huge component, no doubt.
Sure. You seem to like playing Austin, it looks like. You've got 2 of your 3 goals have come against the Austin Bruins. You picked up 1 over the weekend. Is there something about this team that you like that brings out the competitive spirit maybe?
Well, I mean, you know, going in against Austin, you know they're going to hit. So, I mean, that kind of plays into my game. You know, I like to have at least, you know, 1 good
Right,
hit a
right,
game.
right.
So, I mean, that helps. And, you know, they play aggressive. So, it definitely, you're not going to get an easy night with them. So,
Right.
you know, when I'm going in, I'm definitely, you know, I can't take a day off or I can't be unfocused
Sure.
against Austin. So, I think that does help, actually.
Sure. And I guess I wanted you to take us through one of those goals that you scored, the one that was in the Austin game that was played here in Cloquet. You had a shift that I think encapsulates your style of play, where if you can, it started out with a hit and ended with a goal. Can you kind of
well,
explain
I mean,
how that all,
you know, yeah, I mean, that play really, you know, was credited to the team just doing everything right, though. I mean, Nick forced the guy up the middle. Nick did his job, which then gave me the perfect, you know, opportunity to hit the guy. Otherwise, that guy could have cut to the middle pretty easy. You know,
Sure.
I wouldn't have been able to hit him. And then our D were able to transition the puck up really quick up the boards. I can't remember if it was Nick or Romanko who was able to swing to the left side and, you know, made the right play, got it to the blue line. And I just got lucky enough that the puck popped out right there.
Sure.
So I was able to take it in. And then, you know, I had enough speed that I felt like I could get around that guy if I cut to the middle and shot the puck, you know, just shot the puck and it happened to go in. So,
and if you don't shoot, obviously nothing.
yeah,
it's
if you
not
don't
gonna
shoot,
happen that
yeah.
way, so, you know.
And that's even what happened you know, this weekend with Austin. I drove
Right.
wide and, you know, tall goalie, you just throw it on the ice and it just happened to go underneath his feet.
Sure.
So,
Got to know those weaknesses, I guess.
yeah, just throw the puck on net.
Sure. You started your junior hockey career in Sioux Falls. If you can talk about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great experience. I left home at age, you know, gosh, what was I? I mean, I was 16, you know, turning 17 that year. So young player, you know, I got to play in the USHL for 2 full seasons. That was a blessing, you know. Definitely, you know, great environment in Sioux Falls. So, left my 3rd year and went down to Odessa. But my 2 seasons there were definitely beneficial.
Sure. To go from, what was it? Is it Tier 1 Elite that you're playing in
Colorado, yeah, Tier 1 Elite.
To go right to the USHL, I mean, there wasn't any sort of, I guess, culture shock there?
You know, I mean, it's definitely a culture shock, but it's not you know, it's handleable. You can, you know, there's a lot of great players in the Tier 1 Elite League who make that step. And so, I mean, when you get to the USHL, I mean, it's more of just, you know, you're playing with, like, the top players on every
Sure.
team, you know, in the Tier 1 Elite level. So, you know, it's definitely faster. You got to get your shots off quicker. You know, it's more physical. You know, as a first-year guy, I remember the fighting was kind of intimidating when you got these, you know,
Okay.
fourth-year guys, you know. And just kind of that whole aspect of the junior hockey is a culture shock. But for the most part, you know, you're able to hop into it. And, you know, if you use your speed and you know, if you can make plays, you'll be fine.
Right. And then you got some playoff experience that year, too.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my first year in Sioux Falls, we didn't do very well. Second year, new coaching staff came in. That was Kerry Eads, who was the assistant coach for North Dakota. He came in, and you know, we had a great team that year. You know, and it's even kind of similar to our team we have right now. You know, I'm trying to remember. I think it was the second round of playoffs we lost in, and you know, it's kind of one of those situations where even now I can kind of see we're almost in that same scenario team-wise, where we have the skill, we have the chemistry. It's just a matter of, you know, are we going to put it into effect once we're in a playoff scenario?
Sure. And I imagine this is something that I mean, there's not a lot of guys that have as much playoff experience as you did. You've got 10 games worth there that you can kind of carry into this year, kind of help the team that you're on with the Wilderness here.
Yeah, it'll be good.
So your Army commitment, I want to talk about that. I read some things about this, and you don't have any military family history.
No, yeah, no.
So this is going to be something new.
Yeah,
for your
it will
whole
be
family.
it will be completely new. Yeah, I mean it'll be difficult, it'll be hard, but I think it's going to be a good challenge.
Now, I had read that it was Craig Sarner, who's from Brainerd, if I'm not mistaken, or at least his son is listed
Yeah.
as being from Brainerd.
Yeah.
That kind of moved you in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely a component of it. When he was the scout who originally got me into Sioux Falls, who had drafted me there, and then he was the guy, he had left Sioux Falls and then was in Odessa. So when I went down there, he was my assistant coach when I went down there from Sioux Falls, and so I was able to talk to him about it and show, he kind of explained what it's all about. So he was kind of, a component of opening that door for that opportunity to come.
And any kind of ROTC experience with you? Nothing like that?
Nothing like that. No, my only experience is, I guess, junior hockey.
Sure. There you go.
So,
Yeah, well, I guess I read some things about how different an experience it is for a college player going to West Point. The Beast Barracks.
Yeah.
You went to the campus and you've seen.
yeah. Yep.
And I read some stories about the Beast Barracks. There's the 12-mile march that they do at the end of the basic training.
Mm-hmm.
But basic training also, you've got the 4:30 a.m. wind sprints. Your training that involves 50-pound rucksacks. Are these all things that you're ready to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about the physical aspect. I think the hardest is going to be just kind of the mental. It's not going to be something, I believe I can't handle. It's more of just a grind. I mean, but at the same time, I look at it, with junior hockey, anything's a grind, even just the playoff push, just, the amount of games you have to play, playing a team like Austin, that's a
Right.
grind in itself. So, I mean, I've had good experience, through junior hockey that I think has prepared me, in a sense, for what I'm going to expect at West Point.
Yeah. Do you know how to make your bed? I mean, that's one of the things that I've read. That
I would say that's one of the things I've forgotten how to do it with juniors. That's the one.
They'll whip you into shape.
Yeah, they definitely will.
So, from making the bed to tossing a grenade. So, and studies at Army. What are you looking to do then?
Well, I mean, obviously, you graduate as an officer when you get through it, so you have that. But I've always thought about going into business, so I'll have to look at what programs they offer there. I know they have like a business management program, so that's probably the route I'll do, most likely.
And is there? I guess you've got that whole thing about serving your country. And this weekend, we've got the Military Appreciation Weekend. I guess you've participated in those, I imagine, in the past in other teams. And I guess what are your thoughts in taking part in something like that, knowing the path that you've chosen here to go?
It is special. It is. As Coach Millen said, there is kind of that. It's different than putting on just a team jersey, because you do realize, it's bigger than, yourself.
Sure.
So,
goes above and beyond that.
Yeah.
I guess. It's like, I guess, what you got to do when you're in a hockey league to win. You got to go above and beyond.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, good luck the rest of the way. I guess as you go on through the rest of the season, you've been on playoff teams that have gone in the playoffs, have won playoff series. Anything that you can tell any communication that you're giving to your teammates as to what they need to do on this final push here to?
Yeah, I mean, I try to lead more by example, so I haven't just been super vocal about it. But I mean, I would say the one thing we need to do is just play a simple game, because I feel like if we, get the puck deep, keep it in the zone, play good defense, good neutral zone, the guys who are our goal scorers are going to score. The guys who, are really good at defense, and, everyone's just going to play their role better. We just got to play simple and just be vocal out there and talk, and enjoy it.
Sure.
So,
have fun with it.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, great. Ian, nice meeting you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good luck the rest of
Appreciate
the
it.
way. Ian Mansfield. And we're back at Carmen's for Into the Wilderness, and we're happy to be here for all these shows. They do a great job giving us time and space to go ahead and do this. And come on out to Carmen's. They've got great specials every night.
Yep, absolutely. A great place to be. We got Tolly and Corbin here working tonight helping us out, so it's a
There we
great
go.
place.
Now, if we're not going to be able to talk about what they've got going on tomorrow night with St. Patrick's Day. We are taping this on St. Urho's Day.
Yep.
But tomorrow night, I imagine that's always a big night for any place, any big establishment.
Yeah, and I know they're going to have their St. Patty's Day stuff this Friday and Saturday, the 20th and 21st.
Oh, they do?
Yep.
Terrific. All right, we'll look forward to that. And so this weekend, Military Appreciation Night, auctioning off jerseys.
Yep, auctioning off jerseys, all the military, current and former get in for free, thanks to Wells Fargo. So it's a great thing. Friday night we'll have Washington Elementary night. They get discounted ticket prices as well. Bolt Builds hopped on to sponsor Friday night's game. The Buffalo House hopped on to sponsor Saturday night's game. So it's just going to be a jam-packed weekend. The script's not going to be that hard to fill.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of thank yous to a lot of people, but more importantly, it's centered to our military. It's really centered to the people that serve our country, that are now retired and that are currently overseas, men and women both that are doing a lot of great things for us that, not everyone is capable of doing.
Very well said. And after this, March 27th, Cooley Region's in town for the regular season home finale. What do you got going on there?
That's going to be our billet/parent appreciation night. Most people don't see the billet families, don't know who the billet families are. Those are the host families that welcome our boys in from out of town. They take care of them for the 8 to 10 months that they're here for the year, and so it's really nice to give them a thank you and a great job. The kids will recognize them. We'll recognize them on the ice in between periods. You have the select few like Jackie Forbert and Alex Toscano, whose billet's parents are his biological parents. So they have good fun with that too.
Sure.
So it's a great weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's the close out of the regular season. It's almost playoff time, the best time of year.
You got it. The most wonderful time of the year, I like to call it. I mean,
There you go.
It started a couple weeks ago with the Minnesota High School tournament, and it rolls all the way through the NHL Stanley Cup final, in my opinion. In the meantime, I hear that the NCAA does this basketball tournament. I don't know. Does anybody watch that?
No, go Gonzaga.
Not that I know. There we go. Okay, so so our trivia question recap for you. Go ahead and, if you know the answer to this, just go ahead and post it on our Facebook page, Minnesota Wilderness NAHL. The Twitter handle is @MNWilderness. As of March 20th, who is the last team that the Minnesota Wilderness shut out this season? And we're hoping that's going to be a much easier question to answer.
Absolutely.
So, okay. That'll do it for this broadcast here tonight. And I want to thank Ian Mansfield for stopping in, also Coach Corey Millen. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
And thank you to Eric Lippinen for his work here as well. And thanks again for tuning in to Into the Wilderness.